Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Joe Gatto and the accusations against him about SA and SH. Now there have been multiple women come out, as well as an employee come out, as well as someone that worked on set of one of their shows / movies with them. Now I'm not going to re-record all of this because I have several TikToks that explains all of this. So what you're going to see is the TikToks in a row of me explaining each one of the women, their story specifically. And if you don't want to listen to their entire story and just listen to my summary, that's fine. But I'm gonna put their whole story in as well. And then be the next woman, her story, the next one, her story. So that is what you're gonna see here. Make sure the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the celebrity gossip, pop culture news. Make sure you hit that follow button down below on TikTok and on Instagram so you can get more real-time updates. But I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think, if you are believing these women, or if you believe that Joe Gatto is innocent, or if you're on team like myself and I need more information because these are serious allegations. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoy the video.
I got Joe Gatto, the Impractical Joker.
This girl here on TikTok is claiming that she got essayed by Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers, and she posts some receipts, but people are not quite believing her story. But she also posted a new recent video showing even more receipts that may change some people's mind. Let's look at this. So the receipts start off by her sending him the pictures of that they took. First one being this photo here. And she says, "Crazy to see you in Milwaukee. Sorry for interrupting your breakfast. It was nice to meet you today. Going to try to get tickets for your show tonight. Awesome to meet you. For sure, come. It'll be fun. Just bought 2 tickets now. Have to find someone to come with me. Haha, I can't wait." And he says, "Awesome. I'll leave 2 meet and greet passes for you at the box office under your name so you can come back and say hello. Have fun." He said, "Thank you so much. I couldn't wish for a better first comedy show. So excited." Then she posts where she went to the comedy show and then the picture of her backstage meeting him. Then she sends him those pictures again and says, "So happy you loved it and sorry I made you cry. Haha. No worries. All good tears anyways. Okay, you look great in the picture, so that's good. Thank you. I think you're the star of the photo though." Now when she does her explaining video, she says that she was just trying to get out of this because she felt awkward about it. He says, "Debatable." The story replies, "Agree with me. Glad I'm giving you street cred." And she said, "I'd rather have real friends than street cred anyways. Got to show off what people miss." Again, she says she felt awkward here and is just trying to find something to come up with. And they just go on to talk, and she says, "Just drinking and hanging out. Hope yours is too." This is where it gets a little bit weird. In her video where she's talking about the situation, she shows this video, which is allegedly the hotel that she went and met him at. She says this is the photo of her in the elevator at that hotel. She also claims he put the messages on vanish mode and then sent her directions on how to get to the hotel. We'll read this in just a second. But people in the comment section are saying, "It's giving I was drunk and now I regret it, so I'm going to make a 15-minute fame. You knew exactly why you were going there in that hotel." But she also posts this photo alleging that this happened that night. Vanish message she's showing says, "If you can't do the press the button for me trick to get to the 7, I'll come down and not get out of the elevator. You just get in. Let me know when you get here." Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers has responded to the SA allegations. Now the way he words this, in my personal opinion, he didn't deny that something happened, but is denying the SA allegation itself. But you can let me know what you think. If you didn't know, this girl has made a few videos on TikTok talking about how she was essayed by Joe Gatto a few years ago. She shows different DMs of where they talked, nothing really going on until she claims he puts the messages in vanish mode and then tells her how to get to his room in the hotel. She then shows these pictures showing this is her in the elevator headed up to his room, and this is inside the hotel where she met him at. But Joe has responded to these allegations and said this is not necessarily the case. Now, he did not confirm nor deny if this was right after he got back with his wife, but some people are speculating that this was about the same time that he did. Joe said that he has used poor judgment in the past and has therefore violated the trust of people he loves, but is confident anyone who knows him knows he wouldn't A anyone. He also says he is working on himself in an ongoing process, and I am now going to take some time away from the public to force my energies where I need to. This girl here has accused Joe Gatto of essaying her back a few years ago when she was only 19 years old. There are a couple things on both sides of this that people are pointing out that just don't make sense and add up. So we're going to talk about that. Especially one thing in particular that contradicts one of her pictures. Now, I'm not saying Joe's in the right or she's in the right or she's telling the truth or Joe's telling the truth. There are accusations that are this big. I try not to take sides until I have all the information in both sides of the story. This is a poll over on my IG, and it truly seems like people are almost split 50-50 on what is going on. Now, one thing people are pointing out in her story time video, she says it's my time to shine, which isn't sitting right with some people. People saying here's my time to shine is no way an SA victim starts their story.
How to, or if it would ever gain attention, and now I have some, so here's my time to shine.
And one thing people are pointing out about Joe is, one, allegedly at this time, she was only 19 years old. So him inviting a 19-year-old to his hotel is already a red flag. Also, allegedly, she claims that this is right when he was getting back with his wife, which would mean that he is also cheating on his wife with a 19-year-old. And he clearly knows she's underage drinking because he knows her age, and she tells him herself that she's drinking. Another red flag people are pointing out is that he did put the DMs allegedly in vanish mode, and vanish mode never means anything good. He doesn't deny that something did happen. But I do think something happened. Now, whether it was A or not is the question. But he says that anyone that knows him knows he wouldn't A anyone. Now, some people are saying her nails don't match because there's a black thumbnail here, but if you look, this one doesn't have a nail on it, and this one here looks like it's nude, but you can kind of see a white tip on it. In this video, you can't see the thumbnail, but there is one missing from this one right here, and these do have white tips on it. So whether those are the nails or not, I don't know, but that's one thing people are bringing up, saying the nails don't match, but that's not necessarily the case. We don't have enough view of all the nails, and that one is also still missing like it was in the previous video. But here's the biggie. She claims that she got this bruise that night. She posted this back last summer saying, trying to figure out how I can show skin in the summer without getting asked if I'm being ABUSC. I'm anemic. Anemia and bruising often go hand in hand, which means she very well could have gotten that bruise that night, but it could have been very easily for her to bruise. Again, I'm not taking sides, but you can let me know what you think in the comments.
You guys ready? Since a lot of people like to make assumptions about things, and rightfully so, since I didn't post a lot of information out there, I just kind of posted some statements, and that can lead to a lot of false information. So I wanted to come out here and share my story right out flat and how it is, and finally get it out there because I didn't know how to or if it would ever gain attention, and now I have some, so here's my time to shine. Here we go. My first interaction with this man was at brunch with my mom and my sister, and we were all fangirling. We were like, no fucking way. Literally, look. Couldn't believe it. And nobody else really recognized him, so of course we went up and we asked for a picture because nobody else was, so of course we're gonna be those annoying bitches. So yeah, we went up, we took pictures. Here's me. Here's my sister. My sister is a way bigger fan than me. I'm literally only an Impractical Jokers fan because of her. She used to watch it every single night before bed, and I used to hang out with her sometimes in her room, and we would watch it every single time. And when we lived together, she would have it on 24/7. That's all that lady watched. Anyway, that's kind of like an important thing. So while we were over there taking pictures with him, he had asked us if we were going to his comedy show that night. We knew nothing about said comedy show, but we would have gone together. My sister used to live here, and now she lives somewhere else, whatever. She had plans that night. She couldn't go. So I wanted to go with a friend. Those are hard to find, so I couldn't find a friend to go with me. So I had messaged, said sir, because he had liked my Instagram story and whatnot. So I was like, okay, maybe I can get some free tickets because I don't know. I've never met a celebrity before. This is literally the first celebrity I've ever met in my life. And it low-key worked. So here's my Instagram story. Here's the text I sent him, like, crazy to meet you. Gonna try and get tickets to your show. Awesome to meet you. For sure come. It'll be fun. Got tickets. Trying to find someone to come. Awesome. I'll leave 2 meet and greet passes for you at the box office under your name so you can come back and say hello. Have fun. Huh? So does that mean I have free tickets? That's cool. I don't know if that did or not. Like, I literally didn't know what to do in this situation. I didn't know. That's later in the story. Anyway. So that all happens. I'm like getting the tickets, whatnot, planning to go to the show. I do go to the show. And if you look on my TikTok, you can find the video of it. I just don't want to insert it again. But it was fun. Like, I was so excited. This was the first comedy show I'd ever been to, the first famous person, and this, like, actual famous person I liked, and was gonna be funny. Like, I felt safe going to this show. Like, I've been to this theater a million times before and whatever. So I go and I'm waiting in line and I'm like trying to go to the get to the box office and tell someone my name so I can get these whatever. And nobody's really believing me. It was kind of this whole thing. And then they finally did, and there was a whole sticky note with my name, like blah, blah, blah. And then this lady took me and led me to a certain spot. And long story short, I had an entire row, like barred off row in the Pabst Theater in Milwaukee to myself and 2 other people, I believe, that were on like the opposite end, but there was literally like a million seats in between us. Don't mind him. But it was fun, whatever. I did the meet and greet at the end, and I was by myself, so all these ladies let me skip to the head of the line, so I didn't have to wait behind all these, like, families trying to meet this dude. And I skipped to the head of the line and took some pics with dude, and here are the pics. So here's the one. I look really different. My forehead looks low-key really big. Here's another one. Looks gross. It just looks gross now when I look at it. Oh, here's a little pic from the comedy show. Why does he look so small? He looks so teeny. I don't know if you can see the... Why did I just try... Okay. Well, you can't see the row in front of me. But I was literally in a row by myself. So after that all happened, I went home and... Hello? I went home and I had a crazy roommate at the time. And so I was drinking not because of her, just because I was drinking, because I like to drink anyway. And she kind of was half convincing me to do it. Like, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. Like, do it for the plot, blah, blah, blah. So I was drunk, whatever. And then he was texting me all this stuff, and, like, it was starting to get a little weird, you know? Oh, I totally forgot about this. I cried when I met him. I was so overwhelmed. Like, this was a, like, big personal experience for me to go and do something by myself. Like, this was a big girl. It was a big girl thing. And I had never met a famous person. I've said that a million fucking times. How about I say it again? Anyway, so happy you loved it. Sorry I made you cry. Haha. No worries. All good tears anyway. Haha. Okay, you look great in the picture. So that's good. Thank you. I think at the start of the picture, though, trying to kind of... Let's get around that. That was a little weird, so let's just gonna pretend that didn't happen. So then we get a debatable. Sir, that's not no. Story applies, agree with me. Glad I'm giving you street cred, low-key. And then I'm, like, drunk, and I'm being honest, because it's a celebrity, I don't know how they work, so I'm like, I'd rather have real friends, street cred, just gotta show the people what they missed. What did it say? Fuck yes, what a day. Fuck yeah. Hope the rest of your night is epic. Literally just tell him what I'm doing. So after this, he turns on vanish mode. Also, the sky looks kind of pretty. He turns on vanish mode. So I didn't get much of that, and I was drunk and crazy roommate, so doesn't make the best combination. But I did get the one screen or like picture of my phone of him on vanish mode texting me the instructions to get to his hotel room. And I had been to this hotel many a times. I went there, I took my prom pictures there. My sister worked there, and my sister's boyfriend worked there. Like, I've been there plenty of times, but, like, I don't know how it's gonna be when there's a celebrity there. So, to get to the point, Ubered to the hotel, and it was a little, like, he was giving me these weird instructions. Like, I was, like, thinking I was going to be, like, a stealth, like, spy mode at this point. I walk in the door, somebody opens the door for me, whatever, and they're, like, asking me, like, I forget what they asked me. I don't know, I was drunk, I don't know. But, somebody led me to the elevator, and somebody was on the elevator with me and pressed the button. Sorry, my cat, he has upper respiratory infection. Somebody pressed the buttons for me on the elevator and, like, whatever. So I don't know what was going on. I don't like to think about it. But anyway, it was, yeah. And then I have pictures in the outside the elevator, like, in the waiting area to go down the hallway. It was the weirdest, like, long, like, I don't know if it was a U shape, but it was, like, a super long, curvy, hold on. So this is me in the elevator. Fancy-ass elevator. Me, like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, it's a video, but I don't, yeah. Well, I also have, like, the timestamp down here. I wanted to show that. This is how late it was. This is, I think, when I left. But it was this big-ass area also. I like this cone. That's kind of funny. But yeah, then... some stuff happened. I don't want to go into the details about everything, but I'm not going to show the picture that I posted on my account before of moi, but it just, like, the things he said, and, like, he was bragging, like, about things, and just was, it was just, I don't want any girl to feel like that, and to have, don't meet your stars. He wasn't my star, but, like, don't dig your foot where it doesn't belong. Let's just say that. I just am finally, like, I've been wanting to tell people this for so long, and I've, like, tried in different ways, but it's hard to, with somebody this big, come to the realization that if I do say something, that I'm really saying something. So if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. Oh, some things I forgot to mention. This was right after I turned 19. And right after he got back together with his wife. He has kids. Oh, and he knew everything about me when I went there. My family members' names, my dogs' names. It was a little creepy. I didn't really like it. But that's what famous people can do. So, yeah. Thank you.
So he was literally basically begging us to come over to his hotel, saying that he'll sneak us around the back so none of his, people on set would see.
2 more girls have come forward about some inappropriate behavior they personally experienced with Joe Gatto. Now, they are not accusing him of SH or SA, but the proof that they show does show repetitive behavior on his part, and shows repetitive behavior on the age that he tends to go for. Now, they do have screenshots of messages and some things that we are going to look at, but again, they are not accusing him of SA or SH. Just like the previous girl, she put this on her story. He messaged saying, "You were adorable. Thanks for coming." Then they say that he sent them money for Chipotle and has a screenshot from the Venmo from him, allegedly. You can see this is November 24th, 2024, so this wasn't like a super long time ago. They went to another show and met him again, and here's that photo. And just like the previous girl, he gives them meet and greets, and here's the photo from that night. Now, they went backstage and hung out with him for most of the night, and he gave them allegedly $100 for doing so. This is where it starts getting a little bit weird, and this says, "Too cold for a skirt, haha, whoa, that's cold, we'll probably wear jeans," he says, "or leggings." They say, "We'll see what comes to mind tomorrow," and he says, "I'm sure you won't disappoint." Now, they say, "Gonna buy us one in the same hotel as you," because he's offering to buy them a night in a hotel. They say, "Feel bad for making you do that." He says, "Feel bad for you driving so far." He ends up putting them in the hotel next to him, but not in the same hotel. Now, some of their comment section does say that they are kind of egging him on and flirting back, which they address with this post on their story. Pause to read. Now, they say to him, "We could text all night. We have all the time in the world for you." And he says, "Good girls." But also, this is like a 40, 50-year-old man with like young girls. And this is one of the weird messages to me, is he says, "I owe you from last night. Now you owe me." Now, they also claim that he asked them to kiss when they were backstage.
It started getting weird because he was telling us to kiss. Basically, he told us to kiss 3 times in a row.
And wanted them to send pictures that were very inappropriate.
He is asking us for videos of us kissing, making out. I mean, all of that. But all of this was in vanish mode.
Never sent anything, and they never went and met up with him at his hotel.
Wanted us. Yeah. And we decided not to go over there, obviously.
But I do think this helps show some repetitive behavior on his part.
Hey guys, we're going to talk about our experience with Joe Gatto.
Yep. So basically we drove like 3.5 hours to see him because we figured it'd be worth it because we really wanted to meet him. And I mean, everything was good, and we drove really far and we met him. The show was good, everything was fine. But basically I posted on my story and he like reposted it, and then we kind of like started DMing. And basically like, this is how it started, like the conversation.
Yes. So after that, he ended up Venmoing us money for gas and Chipotle.
And this is like the notification from it. So basically, I live in Washington State, and we were like going to visit my family there because like we were online dating for a long time, but we were going to visit my family, and we realized he had shows in Washington at the same time, so we bought tickets to his second show, and I think, didn't he give us free meet and greet passes?
Not for that one, for the third one.
Oh. But anyways, we went to his second show, and we paid for meet and greet passes and the show tickets, and he also let my dad meet him for free, so I'll put pictures of that as well. Yeah, but like this is basically us meeting him for like the second time. And basically he like wasn't being any like weird at first. He was just being super nice. He was like, he met my dad, and we were like still DMing. He kept texting us and stuff like that, but
He was texting us a lot,
like
though.
a lot, like constantly, like more than he should have. And then basically he had a show in Oregon, and it was like a 3.5-hour drive, and we told him that we'd come if he let us in for free. So he told us that he was going to give us free tickets and to get them at the box office. Yeah.
We forgot to say this, by the way. The second time we did see him, he let us go backstage, and his backstage manager named Cha, she took us back there, and we were in a room with him for like only like 5 minutes. It was just a private room, and he was pretty chill. He was normal. We were just talking about the show and everything, and still nothing was weird at this time. And then, okay, back to where we're at.
But basically, the third time when we drove to Oregon, he let us backstage again, but this time it was like for a lot longer, and it was starting to get like
Weird.
Yeah.
So, so we went backstage and we saw him, and again, Cha, like, let us backstage. Anyways, so we were in this room. It was actually bigger than the other room we were in last time. There was like a whole table of food. I mean, he had everything. And there was the couches and all that. So we were just talking to him at first, pretty normal. And is when stuff started getting weird, because he was telling us to kiss. Basically, he told us to kiss 3 times in a row. And just like, not like make out or anything, but just like a normal, you know, little peck. And so we thought that was weird, but I was trying to make it not weird by just eating all of his food. I was just walking around eating his food. And I was like, so, you know.
But basically, he was like, kind of like, he was just being so weird, and then he fed me mango, like with his fingers. Like, I was sitting on the couch and he was standing above me, and he's like, do you want a bite? And then he like fed me with his fingers, and it was really awkward. I was like, right.
So then he told us to take a seat with him on the couch, so we did. And he was staring at our stomachs, and he was wondering if we had an innie or an outie belly button. And he told us to lift up our shirts, so we did. I mean, it was kind of, we couldn't not, you know. So we did, and then he asked to touch them. And that's when it started getting weird. He was stroking our bellies. And that sounds so weird, but I swear to God, that's what he was doing. He was literally touching our belly buttons.
But yeah, our friend was literally in the seats, like, watching the show, but she didn't come back with us, but she was like there, like, we brought her with us because she wanted to come, because we were telling her like, oh my gosh, we were gonna go backstage and stuff. So she saw us go backstage and things like that, but she was waiting for us, and we came back and we were like, what the hell? Like, we were telling her about it, and she was like, what the fuck? Oh, and he kissed her on the cheek before we left.
He kissed me on the cheek, and he gave us a $100 bill.
Oh my god, yeah, I have a picture of it. But basically, okay, this is what I was wearing. You see it, like the red jacket with like that yellow wristband for like meet and greet passes. And this is the $100 bill he gave us. You can see I'm wearing the same red jacket with the same wristband. It's like over there in the corner. But yeah, this is a $100 bill he gave us. He whipped it out and he said, for driving so far, for like seeing me.
Also, before we went to the third show to see him, he was asking us what we were going to wear, and he was kind of saying to wear leggings.
He literally said that because he sent like a picture of the weather, and he said too cold to wear a skirt, wear leggings, something like that. But yeah, like, see, he set the weather for Salem, Oregon, and then he said too cold for a skirt. I said we'll probably wear jeans. He said or leggings, and then he said wear the PJs you're in.
So afterwards, he felt bad because we had to drive so far to get back, and he ended up buying us a hotel, like a $200 hotel.
Basically, like, this is all we really have about the hotel, because like we didn't get pictures of it or anything because we were so like fed up in the moment and like excited about it, because like obviously he's a celebrity and he was like spending money on us, and we were like, oh my god, like what the heck. But he was still kind of like weird in the moment, so we were like, you know. But yeah, this is me saying like gonna buy us one in the same hotel as you, and then he put it in vanish mode like he did with, yeah. But he put it in vanish mode and he was saying stuff, and then he was like saying like it's too risky for me to do that. But yeah, that's why I said smart. But basically he ended up saying like my phone's gonna die, like my charger's in my bag across my hotel room, like can you come grab it for me, because he said that he was in the hotel right next to ours, like the hotel building like right next door. But basically this is him saying like he was like next door. I said waving from next door because he said he was in building next to us. But some of it was in vanish mode because he kept putting it in vanish mode because he's smart. He knows what he's doing.
So we're at the hotel at this time, the one he bought us, and he's still texting us, and he is asking us for videos of us kissing, making out, nudes. I mean, all of that. But all of this was in vanish mode.
Yeah, and he like he knows what he's doing. I swear to God, guys. And he was just like, he clearly had intentions of like doing inappropriate things like that late at night, putting us in a hotel room like right next to his, like building next to his, like.
Not only that, but we did take a picture of one of the things he did send us in vanish mode, and he called us good girls. So that was when we were in the hotel, and
Yeah.
we obviously were saying we could text all night because we wanted to talk to him. He's one of my favorite celebrities. Not really anymore.
Yeah, so
but
obviously we were like caught up in the moment, and come on now, we're lesbians and like we don't like men, so we were kind of like, but yeah, this is when we were like
So he was literally basically begging us to come over to his hotel, saying that he'll sneak us around the back so none of his, people on set would see. And he was literally just trying everything with the charger, with,
just asking us in general. Like,
in general.
Are you going to come over? We were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that because, we're not, like, obviously we're not going to go over there to a 50-year-old, like, hotel room, like, in the middle of night,
We knew what he wanted.
Yeah, obviously, that's what he wanted.
He was asking us for nudes. He wanted us, like,
yeah.
And we decided not to go over there.
Obviously, because we were like, this is crazy. Like, he literally has a wife and kids. Like, this is insane. And this is all, like, recent. Like, this isn't, like, 2023. This is, like, 2024. Like, in December.
2024.
I have proof of it. Like, you see the date. It says Salem, December 26, 2024. Like, this is when he bought us the hotel, the night he bought us the hotel. And this is at the show. Like, he put us pretty close, too. And this is kind of, like, we'll put some, like, more text messages that were kind of, like, odd.
That we have,
yeah. Like, this one, he says, I'm in bed, and then he says, oh, Bree, you really miss me, huh? My girls. And this, he, like, said, can we come tomorrow? Because this is when we were, like, trying to come get him to let us in for free. And then he said, tonight, not tomorrow. Tomorrow. Like, that's what he says, like, right there. And he's just, like, saying some weird stuff, But he said, now you owe me.
So, guys, this is basically our experience with Joe Gatto. He basically wanted us to come over and wanted us to do the dirty. But that girl who did post about the sexual assault allegations, this is not a video about him sexually assaulting us in any way, shape, or form.
Nothing physical happened. It was
nothing at all.
Nothing. But, we're not going to share opinions on that, like, in my opinion.
We don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. No one will know what happened. Honestly, my opinion, believe the victim first. I'd rather believe them over a potential, like, sexual assaulter.
Especially at what happened to us.
Yeah, because, like, obviously, he's not a great man. And what we should be focused on is not teenage girls going to his hotel. What we should be focused on is a 50-year-old man inviting teenage girls to hotels. That's the problem.
Married with kids.
Yeah. This is the problem, guys. Be for real. But yeah, we love you guys, and sorry about the last video. I didn't really clarify a whole bunch, but I appreciate you guys. But this is what happened with us. Everyone has their own experiences, but
if you have any questions, just DM us.
Yeah.
Some of them were talking a lot to pretty girls.
We now have a new perspective on the Joe Gatto accusations from someone that is not accusing him of SH or SA, but as someone who worked on the set of Impractical Jokers and saw some things that were potentially going on. Now, I feel like this is a good insight to have since this is an outsider looking into some of the situations, because some of the things she has to say could show that some of these accusations could potentially be true, but also could show that some people also know what is going on and are not doing anything about it potentially. Now, this girl was an extra on the Impractical Jokers. She says this is her right here, and if you look at the pattern of the romper, this is her in that romper. She was just playing an extra on the Impractical Jokers, I think, movie, she said. The first thing that is a red flag to me in her video is that she says that some of the Impractical Jokers were trying to get some of the extras to take shots with them. And that is a big no-no because they are actually hired by outside companies and are told to not even interact with the main people, such as the Impractical Jokers. Now, the interesting part is she says some, not one, but she says some of them. Not all of them, not one of them, but some of them.
So they are opening up the bottles and they are trying to get the background actors to take shots and get drunk with them.
Now, she never gives a name of which Impractical Joker she is talking about, but I'm going to guess, if I had to put money on it, that the one she talks about in this next clip is going to be Joe Gatto, but that is just my opinion. That is not fact.
But I do remember that there was one of them that ended up coming to Extras Holding, and he was tracking down this blonde girl, and he was like taking pictures and saying like, hey, do you want a picture with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. And they were taking pictures, and it was during lunchtime. He ended up coming and hanging out in Extras Holding. And if anybody is familiar with sets and all of that, that's not normal.
Let me know what you think in the comments. I just found this to be interesting as a different type of perspective.
A lot is coming out about Joe Gatto right now, and I wanted to share a little bit of my perspective because I worked on the Impractical Jokers movie when I was living in Atlanta, and it was the worst set experience of my life, so I am unsurprised by everything that is coming out. I didn't grow up watching their show, but my mom was a really big fan, so I was excited when I got cast, and I think it was for 2 or 3 days worth of work. So this happened in Atlanta. I think it was around 2018. So on the first day, I was not next to them for the majority of the day because we were in a club. So we're like in club clothes, and they are downstairs, and I am on the second level. So really, I was not seen at all on the first day. You could just see the tops of my feet, but we are all supposed to be clubbing. So after some hours of work, we ended up going to Extras Holding, which was in this big giant white tent outside of the club for us to go and get some lunch. So while I'm there, I'm talking to my fellow background actors that I know from other sets, and they were on the first floor. So they told me that the Impractical Jokers, who I am not super familiar with, I know that their whole shtick is obviously pranks and stuff like that, they told me that they were trying to get the extras to take shots. So they were opening up bottles from the bar. So they're renting this space from the bar. They do not own the alcohol that we are shooting at, right? So they are opening up the bottles and they are trying to get the background actors to take shots and get drunk with them. I guess I shouldn't say getting drunk. I don't actually know if they were trying to get drunk or just get a little tipsy, but they were definitely trying to give alcohol to some of the background actors. And I think maybe a couple of them felt very uncomfortable because you have to imagine the way that these sets work is you are told to not talk to the talent. It is very much stressed. Like, even some of the casting agencies, you even have to go through a training where they tell you what you are and are not allowed to do. So one thing that they say is do not approach them, don't try to get pictures with them. Definitely you would not be drinking with them on the job. So these background actors are being put in a very uncomfortable position because you have these people, positions of power, it is their movie, and they are saying like, take shots with us, and they're like opening up bottles from this Atlanta bar. So that's all I heard about that on the first day. So the second day, I ended up coming back. You wear the same clothes because it is the same day, right? And I am on the first floor this time. So I am in very close proximity with them. And actually, Paula Abdul was in this scene, and I'll share at the end my feelings on her because she was actually very pleasant. But I was on the first floor, and before the day started, we are back in Extras Holding, and we ended up getting a little talking to by one of either the director, AD, one of the top of the crew. So this person comes into Extras Holding, and they start scolding us and telling us, hey, we know that you guys were drinking yesterday, and we know that you were opening up bottles and you guys were taking shots, and we are going to tell your casting agency to blacklist all of you if you continue this. Obviously we need you to work today because you worked yesterday and continuity, but that was outrageous and you guys need to not, and we basically got scolded. So at this point, some background actors are like awkwardly raising their hands and they're saying, hey, listen, it was the Impractical Jokers. They were like forcing this on us, and they were actually the ones drinking. And we didn't have much. Like, there was like a couple shots, but really a lot of the alcohol that was being consumed was by the Impractical Jokers. When the crew member heard this, he seemed a little taken aback. He didn't seem like he knew how to respond to that, but he did seem to believe us. He didn't seem entirely surprised, but it was just kind of awkward all the way around. So he ended up saying, okay, well, listen, guys, if anything is offered to you, you guys have to say no, right? So that is kind of where we left that. Now, throughout the day, they were being kind of obnoxious, and their humor is not my humor. So maybe you guys would think that they are very funny, like in between takes, they were cracking jokes and they were being really loud. I particularly didn't enjoy it, but hey, it could be somebody else's vibe. But I did notice that some of them were talking a lot to pretty girls. And I don't want to say which ones because I might be wrong. I'm not super familiar with this cast and who they are. I haven't narrowed down in my head to a couple, but I would hate to get it wrong. And I want to make sure that I'm only saying what is true. But I do remember that there was one of them that ended up coming to Extras Holding, and he was tracking down this blonde girl, and he was like taking pictures and saying like, hey, do you want a picture with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. And they were taking pictures, and it was during lunchtime. He ended up coming and hanging out in Extras Holding. And if anybody is familiar with sets and all of that, that's not normal. Typically they eat in a different place. So for the main talent to be in Extras Holding, kind of hanging out with these really younger, pretty girls and taking pictures with them, it was really weird. Overall, the set was just a mess and had a bad vibe to it. And I got the vibe that these guys, or at least some of these guys, were very creepy. And I figured some of you guys would want proof that I was actually in this. So if you can see here, I know I couldn't get a better picture. I literally spent $4 to rent this on YouTube for you guys. But if you see back there, that is my hair, and pay attention to the romper and the pattern on my romper. And as you can see here, that same romper that I had in 2018. And there were a lot of other crazy things happening on this set, and not all of it was their fault. But one thing that happened was there was this background couple. Everybody knew that they were together. They worked on sets together a lot, but she wasn't there that day. He ended up cheating on her with another background girl in the fitting room, like in the changing room where we were all getting ready for the scenes. They ended up sleeping together. So then all of the other background people were like, do we tell our friend? Because she wasn't there that day. So it was just a chaotic set. But like I said before, Paula Abdul was the brightest spot of this entire experience. I was standing next to her at one point, and she was so down to earth. She asked me my name. She told me that she loved my name. And then she started telling me about how her mom would be so proud that she was in this movie. She was just a very humble and sweet person. So I really just wanted to come on here and say, I know some people are finding that girl's story unbelievable. I do not find it unbelievable. I know that he ended up splitting with them a few years ago, and he said it was because he was going through a divorce. There's something weird going on there. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about what I know of their demeanor and their personalities and the pattern of taking pictures with young girls, because I think it is very relevant. So I just saw her getting eaten alive in the comments, and I thought that maybe this might help put a little perspective on their vibe.
Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers has now been accused of SH from now a second woman, this one an employee. His response to this woman makes him seem a little bit more guilty, if I'm being completely honest with you. When and how this all started is even crazier. We actually met this second woman again at a live show when she was only 15 years old. Keep in mind, this other girl was only 19 years old when this happened. She claims that as soon as she turned 18 years old, his behavior shifted and became more flirtatious. Before this girl started working for him, another employee went ahead and warned her that she perceived Joe as a flirtatious and handsy type of person, telling this girl before she took the job that he tells inappropriate jokes and advances her to shut it down immediately if he did anything creepy, which means that would be a third person. He claims while she was working with her that he would occasionally inappropriately grab her and ask for back massages. She also claims that Joe invited her to his room or asked her to cuddle. She also claims that he would frequently ask about her sex life. Now remember, the first girl that accused Joe Gatto of this said that he had just gotten back with his wife. Well, he told this woman that he was in an open relationship with his wife, which allegedly was not true. He claims that he would respond to her social media posts saying she's hot and get jealous when she'd post about her boyfriend. He said when she would reject his advances and refuse to flirt back, he would be rude to her the following days, fearing that if she did not go along with his games that she would lose her job. This is where it gets a little more SA allegations. She claims that he once grabbed her upper thigh while the two were in a hotel elevator doing a work trip. Allegedly told her that he knew that he would make her uncomfortable during this work trip they were on. He also claims that he would also insist that the employees come to his room to have a drink despite him publicly saying that he was sober. The office that he worked at was allegedly a 2-bedroom apartment where he would frequently make jokes about bringing girls up through the elevator so they would not have to go through the building's lobby. Now, if you go back to the first girl, she said that he wanted her to go up through the elevator and he would even come down in the elevator to get her. But here's where it gets even more crazy because this is his response. His rep told people when they reached out to him about a response to this, told them to refer back to his previous statement and didn't even respond to this allegation at all.